Who here ever feels guilty about taking time off because you're like, I know things need to get done. I know somebody else is going to do it. I'm going to feel like I have a hard time with that. You better get that hand up, man. Yeah. So this is part of the freedom equation. We have to give ourselves permission for that. All right. Number 2, prosperity through simplicity. The simpler you can keep your life and your business, the easier it is to achieve prosperity. We'll dive into this one as well. Number 3, we're going to talk about the 4 stages of financial prosperity. So we already mentioned that while finances are important, they are not the only thing, right? They are one component, but we got to make sure we win there so we don't limit our options in terms of finances, all right? We got to make sure that we don't limit what we can do because of money and be struggling because of that. So that is something we're going to address as well. We'll talk about these 4 stages, which are a stepwise sequence that if you follow in order are probably as close as you can get to a guarantee of having your control over your money versus your money controlling you. We're going to talk about setting yourself up to win. What are the things that you can tangibly do in your life, in your business, so that you can stack the deck in your favor to succeed? Like, what are all the little things, the things that you can get to make sure they align to kind of prop you up and make sure that you have all of those things available to you? Number 5 is embracing life and taking action. So this is diving into the concept that listen, at the end of the day, action is where it's all at. It's such an important thing. Like anybody else in here like a personal development junkie? Like you love self-improvement, you love getting better, you love improving. I love that stuff. But, right, it's a big but, right?
You already have one, but you don't need another one.
You already have one but. All right, thank you, Peter. You can do all the learning, get all the information, and have all of this kind of headspace knowledge, but unless you translate it into action, into behavior, into making an actual difference and doing things differently, you're not going to get the results you want, right? Some of us know people like this that maybe they can talk a good game, but they're not walking it, and they're not doing the things they say that they will discuss or propose. And so when that happens, it's a disconnect. So we're going to talk about taking action and how to make sure that occurs. And then lastly, principle number 6, which is sharing life through giving. Now here's one thing that many of you have either already discovered or you will discover. At some point in your life, it's not about you anymore. And there's only so many times you can have lobster before it tastes like soap. Okay? There's only so many vacations you're going to want to go on. There's only so many cars you're going to buy. Whatever it is, whatever that thing is for you, until you realize, until you take it beyond and past yourself and help and impact and grow other people, you're not going to find the lasting fulfillment you're looking for. So it really is. This is one of those things that it's not just about us, it's about other people. And the cool thing with that is as you start to, and whether it's a purpose that you're driven and passionate about, whether it's something bigger than yourself, whether it's just something local or global, it doesn't matter. But finding something or someone or cause to pour into, that's the only way you're going to find lasting fulfillment. And so this is a crucial component to kind of the capstone to this whole process. So let's dive into principle number 1, prosperity equals freedom. What then is freedom? The power to live as one wishes. And this includes all of those different components we just talked about. The mental, the emotional, the financial, the time, the schedule, right? All of these things. So, is it safe to say that many Americans work too much? Yes or no?
Yes.
Some, yeah. Many Americans, though, right? How about are so busy it's difficult for them to enjoy life? Yes or no? Yeah? Have too much stress? Have you guys seen the rates of prescription antidepressants being used today? And you compare that to even 5 or 10 years ago? Even take COVID out of the equation, because by the way, that was a huge spike. Even if you took COVID out of the equation, there's a recent Harris poll, there's one actually pre-COVID, that showed that only 1 in 3 Americans were happy with their life. They surveyed 500,000 people. That's half a million people. Only 1/3 was happy with their life. So think about that. If you look at a person on your left and a person on your right, if you were in the general population, only one of you would be happy with your life. And so that, by the way, that in and of itself is a depressing statistic, right? And so something is off, something has to be changed. And so this is where we really need to start realizing the path most people are on probably isn't going to give them the life they want to live. Is it safe to say that many Americans don't love what they have to do for a living? Yes or no? Yeah. Maybe in your room right now, there's people in here that you don't love what you have to do, but you're kind of in it, and you have to kind of make ends meet, and so you're stuck there for now. All right? And so that's something to realize. Now, one of the challenges with this is that we live in a culture that glorifies busy. Like, we hear about the grind, the hustle, right? The 10X culture. And listen, that stuff can feel like invigorating to some extent, and it can feel exciting, it can feel motivating, you get pumped up. It's like, it's like your high school football coach gives you that halftime speech, and you're like, yeah, coach, let me out there, let me get him, put me in. But it's not sustainable I'm trying to think of a single exception of like a long-term sustainable model that something that follows that. Listen, it can get you some short victories, but I think long-term you're going to have some catastrophic failures. And so we have to stop glorifying busy. We look at busy as a badge. We wear our busy badge, right? Of like, hey, I'm busy. And by the way, you have these conversations with people and they're like, oh, you think you're busy? Let me tell you about my life. And like it becomes this comparison. I think workaholism has some of the similar traits to other kinds of addictions of sorts. And if you think about it, it's completely logical. Why? There's a lot of good reasons for it. Why do you guys think people work so much? Let's hear some of them. Yeah, Norm.
If I'm failing at home, I may as well spend time somewhere where I have success.
Yeah, right? You guys hear him? If I'm failing at home, I may as well go somewhere where I'm having success. Maybe you're really good at it. You get acknowledgement, people are patting you on the back. You're the man, you're the woman, right? Love it, man. Yeah. What else?
Hold on.
Avoidance. Yeah. What are you avoiding?
I mean, not for me.
Sure.
No,
Of course
I mean,
not.
like,
Of
just
course not.
avoiding dealing with internal issues or feelings of self-doubt or self-worth or just avoidance of things inside that you're just
Don't want to deal with.
Yeah.
It's easier to not think about it.
Feel more important.
Feel more important. Why? Why would you feel important at work?
Boost your ego.
Boost your ego. Maybe you're
people to like you.
Yeah.
People pleasers, all that jazz.
right. Your identity, your self-worth is wrapped up in it. Yeah. Any other reasons? What do you got, John? Dopamine effect. Yep, for sure, right?
I don't know where to go anymore.
We're messing him up.
I think like commitment. You have, if you're an auto body person, you've got 5 jobs lined up, and you promise.
You have a commitment. You don't want to let people down. Your name's in the line. You have full. You got to deliver.
Yeah.
Right. And by the way, I love these are awesome answers. By the way, so let's talk about your example just real quickly here. Are you a one man show?
Well, it's actually a friend of mine that I know who's always, he makes time, but he's always got 5 jobs lined up, and so he has to hit certain dates.
Got it. And so here's what happens with that mentality: is do you ever hire people, or do you do it yourself because you're the best? Nobody can do it like you, and your name's in the line. And so this is where people get bottleneck themselves into a business where they can't create a real business because their identity is that being the go-to person, right? And by the way, I'm not saying any of these are bad, but I want you to understand them. Like that's one big thing. We're not going to talk about good or bad at all. We're just going to talk about understanding. What are the reasons why we work so much? Chad, you have something?
I was going the people pleaser route too, but
People pleaser?
yeah,
Now you're talking my language.
I just want to hear you say it.
That's right. Any people pleasers in here? Come on, raise your hand.
People
Nice and
pleasers?
proud. Hi, my name is Polish Peter. I'm a recovering people pleaser. Our shift, dude, we're laughing about this, but it can be such a detriment to your life, to your business, to your relationships. It's insane. And guess where it comes from? Your hey hi. All right, anybody else?
Got a couple more, yeah.
Completing financial goals.
Financial goals, yeah. Like, hey, who here has ever felt like, man, if I just made another 10 grand this year, or 20 grand, or 50 grand, or 100 grand, life would be good. Anybody ever felt that? Am I the only one?
Yep.
Okay, I'm the only one. Listen, I felt that. Like, oh, I'm just gonna work. I just gotta work. Put my nose down for a few more months, and then you wake up and you look up and it's 2 years later, and you're not working any less. Yeah, love that. We had a couple more. Kimberly.
You don't know what else to do with your time?
Oh my gosh, I
Don't know
love
what
that
you wanna
one.
do?
Right, you're like, so anybody ever hear of Parkinson's law? Not super common. Northcote Parkinson was an economist. He wrote an article that basically said your available time for work is that which you give it. Essentially saying that the more time you have available, the more you're going to work. We'll get into this on day 2 or 3 where we start looking at the calendar. But if you don't know what you're going to do and you don't have anything on your vision because you don't have a vision, what are you going to do? Well, I may as well work. I mean, I have nothing else to do, right? So, yeah, absolutely. Love that. Any other ones? You got a couple more here, Peter. Yeah. Asher.
Pursuit of what you thought was a dream, or the concept of feeling needed.
Gotcha, man.
Feeling needed, yeah.
Feeling needed. Yeah.
Anybody deals with that? Think about it. If I'm gonna go and do something because it feels good, somebody needs me, right? Get some validation for that. Anybody else have any ideas? Yes.
Yeah, along with what everybody else has said, I think there's a sense of value that you have as a human being by the amount of work that you do and what you accomplish in life. So it's about not just your identity, but how important you are, how valuable you are. That's what our culture teaches us.
Yeah, that's true. Yep. We have one right behind you.
And honestly, if you're the only breadwinner and you need money to, to sustain your family, that's, that extra overtime or that extra time that'll give you that extra money is a factor in just getting it done.
Yes.
And, just being able to get through that so that everybody else has what they need, regardless of, as long as you can do it, keep on going so that everybody else, kind of worrying about everybody else.
Kind of like sacrificial lamb.
Sacrificial lamb,
Yeah.
Syndrome.
So, by the way, so we're all hearing different answers, and these are all valid. But let me say something, and this is not, so we have our Business Builder Workshop. That's where we talk about how to actually get out of doing all the business. This is a life workshop, but I want to say something now that may offend some people. Is that, by the way, is that okay? I think you need to hear it, except for Caleb. All right, if you are constantly busy all the time, running around with your hair on fire. No hair, by the way, I noticed that. It's a sign of fear, lack of creativity, or intellectual laziness. All right? Listen, guys, my name is Jason. I'm your friend. All right? Don't throw it down to your shoe. If
You can throw a shoe at them, yes.
If you are always busy. Now, I know that some of you have jobs in here, and that's a little bit of a different situation. But if you're a business owner and you're always busy, it's a sign of fear, lack of creativity, or intellectual laziness. You have not put in the time required to figure out how to get out of it. That's what I mean by that. And while I really, really, really enjoy what I do. But guess what? I also love Almond Joys. And if I were to just have Almond Joys for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, that could be a problem in my life. Just like you're good at what you do, it has a purpose, it serves you, you have value, all these other great things. But if that's all you do, you're going to have other problems in your life, all right?